Hey guys, welcome back to the P Street Podcast. Mr. Loa here.
Smoky Lonjas.
How you doing, guys? We're doing a dedication to Bubba Williams here with Coach Flores, right? I'm gonna start with a little intro and a little background with about Bubba Williams. Lawrence Bubba Williams was born in 1949, April 2nd. He was the son of Frank and Lillian Williams. Mr. Bubba Williams graduated from Pecos High School in 1967. He received his bachelor's, a degree in 1971, and his master's in 1978, both from the Sol Ross University. Mr. Bubba Williams also returned his hometown of Pecos, Texas, to teach health and PE, and he coached baseball and football for a very successful run of 33 years, and eventually became part of the athletic directory, and also became a member of the school board for several years. Guys, today we're doing this in memory of him, and we have a very special guest, Mr. Joe Flores. He also has 14 years under his belt for coaching and is the creator of the Joby Flores 33 Lead Foundation organization that you can find on 33lead.org. How you doing, Coach?
What's
Welcome to
going
the
on,
show.
fellas? Yeah, man. Thanks for having me, man. I appreciate you, fellas.
Yeah, how you doing, man? So,
Doing good. Hey, Lord, you know what?
yo, what's up?
Also, shout out to the Pecos Eagles,
Right,
the
right,
baseball
guys.
team. They actually won, and at the same time, they were wearing a ribbon around their arm,
Right.
saying "Listo,"
Yeah,
something that Bubba Williams will always say as well.
correct. Giving a
So,
shout out.
shout out to you guys. Also, shout out for the ladies Eagles as well. Y'all try.
Yes,
It
sir.
was a good game. Uh, Also, here we go. Lord, what else?
Yeah, so let's give Coach a little bit, like, so he can introduce himself. So tell me a little about yourself, Coach.
Man, well, now or all together?
All together, however you want to do it. We'll read the memories. Like, you got any memories to
Well,
share?
well, more like you about you, because the Bubba Williams, we want to.
Yeah, they'll
Okay.
know.
Yeah, yeah.
We're gonna get into it.
All right, sounds good, man. Well, for those of the people that are going to watch this that don't know, I'll just kind of start whenever I graduated from Angelo State University in 1999. And so when I graduated from Angelo State University, my main thing, I'm from Monahans, Texas. And so I had a handicapped son who needed 24-hour attention. I had a coaching job in Houston, Texas already lined up. My
Okay.
wife says, well, guess what? Our families in Monahans, we can't afford to go to Houston and not have help. So you got to find a job around Monahans or in Monahans. And so, okay.
Okay.
Well, one place I wasn't going to go to was the Pecos. I wasn't
Yeah.
there. So
The rivalry, man.
I told myself I'd never coach in Pecos. That'd be the only place I never coach at. And the whole long story short, that's the first place I coached at. And so, I think God had a plan for me because I met a lot of great, wonderful coaches and kids and athletes like you guys. And so, very, very grateful that Mr. Olivas picked me out of the hat at the job fair at Angelo State University. And so,
Okay.
started started my coaching career there in Pecos and went on to. It was the longest place I went that I stayed at compared to all the other schools. I was there for 5 years and ended up at Fort Stockton, and then I went to Odessa Permian, and I finished my last 2 years up at Midland High. And after that, I figured out that I hated teenagers and got into the insurance business, man. So insurance business ever since, and got like I say, 3 kids. They're all grown up now. Whenever I coached you guys, I had 2 kids. They were both babies, and so now they're grown up. They're out of the house, and life is good in Greenwood, Texas.
All right, man.
Got it. Hey,
All right,
Coach, I was
Coach.
gonna say when you were a coach, I remember I was one of the players in basketball, one of
Yeah.
the best coach, man. But one of their drills will make me laugh. So I'm gonna say right now, one of the drills you will make a shift from basketball. I remember you make a shift and you say, "Bump," right? You want to quit. You want to stop getting fouls, okay? So I'm gonna show you how to getting fouls. So pivot from one corner to the other corner, bump. and another one, pip, pip, all the way from one corner to another corner, pop. And I remember for us back then, it was like when you bump each other, right? We're like, nah, man, we try our best not to bump each other because de
Right.
volar pareja que me vamos a dar un beso, you know?
Te digo.
Yeah.
Nah, man. Yeah,
Well, also viewers, you watching this, we're also gonna read some memories. Memories
right.
coming out of you got one ready, Loa?
Yeah. So there was one that we asked on our P3 podcast official if you had any memories to share with us. There was one person that shared one, which was Frankie Ramos. He shared one about Bubba Williams. He said that he remembers how happy he was when they beat number ranked two in the state baseball, Andrews, when they beat Andrews, when they were ranked number two in the state. That was a fond memory of him because he remembers how bad Bubba Williams wanted to win. And he says that he's always going to remember that, how joyful he was after beating number two ranked Andrews.
And also, I got one from Jacob Esparza. Everybody knows him by Roach. But
Roach, yeah,
yeah,
Roach.
Jacob Esparza. So he told me a story. He said, Coach Bubba Williams, senior, he was so passionate. He loved the Eagles so much that he bled purple and gold. You know, that's how much he loved the Pecos Eagles. So he was telling me that one day they were playing football and it was against Crane and they were losing 21-0 in halftime. So Coach Bubba Williams goes in there and says, "Hey guys, get your head up, man! Y'all playing by like a bunch of Pecos pussy, right?" And then he was like, "What? Like, oh hell no!" But people who don't really know him, he was saying stuff like this because he loved the Pecos Eagles. He wanted to make sure it was a type of motivation that he will give to our athletes to start, to perform better, right?
Right, he was just trying to motivate
Yes,
him,
it was a motivation speak. At the same
get him riled up.
time, yeah.
This is
So
locker room talk.
yeah, this is a locker room talk. So he also mentioned, he said at the end of the day, the game they finished with the game 61-8 against Cray.
Yeah, I remember that.
So he was his motivation. That's how much he loved the Pecos Eagles. He was a funny guy as well. And uh this is all coming from also, like, oh, okay, another thing that he does mention, that Bubba Williams will always say the four piece in que decía puro pinche Pecos pride. So that he remembers as well. And Coach Williams Jr., if you see this is coming from Jacob and his whole entire family, they're giving their condolences to you guys as well.
That's cool, man.
Loa,
So it was all
time.
about. Yeah. My memory, like I said, was my memory that I like to share about him was, like, because he was very. I always saw him around school. Every time we had practice, he would show up sometimes. Even before the games, you just see him standing there and by the end zone watching the game. He was always involved, and I knew he carried himself very respectfully, man. And so he was kind of intimidating, because I don't know him that personally, but I knew there was something about him that was just I was fond of him. Like you could see that he carried himself very, very good. And I remember, like I said, I was talking about earlier, Coach, about when he was talking about that Shot Williams had put us on the map on the ESPN when they interviewed him. Uh, who was the hardest team that you ever played against? They hit you the hardest that you remember, like, and he said Pecos, Texas. He put us on the map. And I remember when he came in to one of the like meetings in the match before we hit, when I started going to practice, he told us straight up, like, he put us on the map, guys. We got something, we got to back it up now. You know what I mean? Like people are gonna expect us to be those, those goal crushers, like we're gonna go out there and give it everything and they're gonna remember who we are when they play us. So he was very proud of the fact that they had put Pecos on the map like that. And that's a very fond memory. I remember that. That will never leave me. That was very awesome.
Here comes my memory. So, so I ran cross country. Also, I played football at the same time. So, football, I was the smallest one there in the team, and I guess you could say I was more like a special team, and a receiver here and there. Once in a while, if somebody got hurt, Smokey, get in there, right? But this is gonna go straight to cross country. So a lot of people, I remember as growing up, they thought that Coach Williams, Bubba Williams Sr., will always be more into the Pecos Eagles baseball and the Pecos Eagle football. But in reality, I'm gonna prove you guys wrong. that day when I got first place in district for cross country. Also, as a team, we got first place and we beat our district as well. And we are having practice. We're having practice, and we finished doing the suicide drills, and he stops everybody. He put everybody in the knee. Everybody, all the football players on one knee. And he comes in there. He said, "Hey guys, I got something to tell you, man. Smokey, stand up. Remember that time?
Yeah.
Yeah. So he said, Smokey, stand up. Everybody, give him a round of applause. He just got first place in district. He also hit the 17-minute on the 3 mile mark. It hasn't been hit in a long, long, long time. Since I believe they say Billy Garcia, I think he was graduated in 1999. And that was the last time they actually, he was one of the fastest cross country before I even got there. So that was something that I never expected from him. I never thought like he was, I was simple, man, cross country, who's gonna really pay attention to cross country? But in reality, Bubba William was one of them.
He acknowledged you,
it
man.
was a knowledge. Yeah,
That's
exactly.
awesome.
He loved the Pecos Eagles.
Oh, yeah.
Yes. So it didn't matter. You're a golf player, a tennis player,
You're
basketball, track, swimming. He
Yeah,
loved it.
He loved every yeah, that's cool, man. You got any memories, coach?
man, I do, man. I have probably too many, but I'll say a couple. Well, I'll say one really when it comes to coaching. When you're a young coach and you first start off, you try to emulate the coach that coached you, and then you want to be the best. And so you feel like when you're young and you want to do a lot of things, and you go to coaching school and you learn so many things, and you want to implement everything just because you learned it, right? And one of the things I admired about Coach Williams is that I learned, especially as I got older, into coaching and now really, the greatest coaches are the most simple.
Mm.
Really, the most simple coaches. They already realize that there's really a few things that really, really, really matter when it comes to coaching. And so he kept things very simple. And kids just responded to him for that reason. There are certain things he had. He had a deal called chill time. So players get there at 4 o'clock, the baseball team, and the young guys like me are like, let's go, let's practice, let's go, let's go.
Yeah.
And man, he wanted to sit in the dugout and chill with the guys and players talking about the school day and what you're doing.
Yeah. One of the guys.
Cracking jokes, man. And then finally, after 15, 20 minutes, we get out to practice. And you at the time, you don't realize how important that chill time was. And that chill time really brought the best out of the teams that coached. And so that's really a good memory. Second memory, I have a lot of them. Again, I'm not going to bore you guys with all of them, but
Nice.
another good one that I really, really cherish, always did, is that during the baseball season, Coach Grubbs was an assistant coach, and Payan, and then Junior Williams, and then me. And before I got the head basketball job, I was assistant on the baseball team.
Yeah.
And he would get us out of class, man. And I'd be there. Mr. Rodriguez, he was a principal. He said, "Hey, Coach, I think Coach Williams needs you in the field house." And I knew right then, man. I'd go to the field house and we'd have chill time. It was a coach's chill time, man. We'd chill for about 15, 20 minutes, man. And he'd go, "Are y'all hungry?" "Yep." And we just go eat, man. He goes out to eat right in the middle of the school day, man. And so those are just great, great memories that I have with Coach Williams. And there's a lot of them, man. But learn that in coaching, being simple,
Right.
is probably the best thing to do. And how to treat kids. There really wasn't a better guy that I learned from on just how to treat kids. He would start every year off, with all the in-service stuff, right? So all the coaches would sit in the room, and he'd always give his speech, and he said it every year. It would be the first thing he'd say every year. He would always say, "One thing that you better do is feed the kids, treat the kids right, and feed them." And
Yeah.
that'd be the first thing that he'd always say at every meeting. And so, very grateful for everything that he did for me.
Right, man. He
Yeah.
was a great person.
Laura, you got something from Peter audio?
Yeah, Peter, there was some memory he shared on the audio.
Not-
Um, but I'll say it because it's pretty much what he has mentioned that there was a time whenever I guess he was playing quarterback, and he I guess Coach Grubbs wanted him to get in there and hurry up, get the play, let's go, we got to go, right? Like hurrying him up. He's like, man, and but he saw that Bubba Williams was standing right behind Grubbs, right? So when Grubbs was telling him one thing, like hurry up, get out to go to the play, out of nowhere as he's going, he hears, "It's okay, Pete, calm down, take your time. Like we're gonna get it going. Don't rush. Try to do it right, And Peter was like, okay. Then he's like, then I would hear, he's like, I will Grubbs again. Well, come on, hurry up, get out there, get the play going. Then he'd hear again, Bubba Williams like, remember, Pete, take your time. Let's get it done right. Like, so Peter says that that's something he got off of him is like that just take your time and there's always time to get it done right. Like never rush things. Like just take your time and whatever you're doing, there's always time. And whenever you do it to the best you can. But just remember, there's always time.
That's right.
And he's like, that's something that he's like, I learned off of him, and I always it always stayed with him.
Also, Peter couldn't make it.
Yeah, Peter
couldn't make it, so we're sharing his story as well.
Right.
Yeah, there's a lot of deals. I got one more. I'm gonna tell you one more. Okay.
Go for Coach.
It's not. I hope I don't take too much of your time, but
no, there's plenty of time.
Mira, ya me estoy durmiendo. Mira. No, just kidding.
During practice, we practiced double plays, and he would hit the ball. I mean, it seemed like it was 30 minutes of just double plays. And Coach loved it. He go, here we go. And he talked the whole time. He was hyped up, and the kids would get hyped up. And we would get to a point where the kids were just taking so many DPs, man, double plays, that they would get fancy. They'd start throwing with the glove, and they would start no looking. And we did it so much for so long of a time. Coach Payan his top would want to blow. He'd be so mad, like, why can't we do something else? This is all we ever do is double plays. And so one day, Coach says, we're on a bus or something, man. And Payan said, hey, Coach, tomorrow, can we do something other than all the double plays for 30 minutes like we usually do or something like that? And Coach Williams just kind of calmly turned and said, look, son. He said, when you play good teams, he said, Coach, when you play good teams, you got to be able to turn too. And you got to do it at the most opportune time. You got to be the best teams can get out of a bind just because they can turn too, son. He goes, I'm telling you what, man, just pay attention. I'm telling you, I know what I'm talking about, And so he'd say like that. And sure damn enough, if it didn't happen most of the time where, man, we got runners on first and second, it's one out, we're all about one run, we're playing Monahans or Andrews or in the playoffs, and man, they hit a shot and we make a double play that's just miraculous to get us out of the inning. And things like that would happen all the time, man. I would turn to Payan, we'd be like, well, that's why
we're doing it.
All day, man. And so he would just, simple things like that Coach really, really harped on, and just a lot of good memories, man. Whole bunch.
Yeah.
Coach Flores. So here we go, Coach Flores. We're gonna give you the stage, the 33 lead for
Coach. So
Bubba Williams. I bet you a lot of these people are waiting for it. They're waiting to see what you have. How was the interview with him? And
right, Coach. So I know you did an interview with him on the 33 league. Most of us watched it. We knew about it. I knew about it from Joey Ortega. He saw it. He's like, hey, did you hear it? I'm like, nah. Like once you hear like you, Coach, and then Bubba Williams, we're like, oh, really? So what do they talk about? Like, watch it. So there I am at work listening to it, and I loved it. I didn't know you had done this,
Yeah, and then while we're doing the Peachtree, he had told us, he said, hey, man, you should watch Coach Flores' interview. Right. So me and Peter were like, oh, let's go watch it. So
a lot of people didn't know about it. So like, tell us give us a little background on how this all came about. You interviewing them and what you guys talked about. I know I read some of it, like your father, right, was something similar to Bubba Williams, right? He was very well known in Monahans, right? And just kind of like let us know a little bit about how you can kind of relate in a way with Bubba Williams, how he. It
Yeah, yeah,
was?
yeah. No, it's and so my dad, just a real quick about before we get into Coach Williams, my dad was if you guys remember, he was at all the games.
Right.
And, my dad loved sports. I grew up in a crazy family. You guys probably it's hard for me to explain how me and my brother were raised, but we weren't raised normal. And so we were kind of raised in a sports crazed family where that's all we thought about. So much that today that's still all I think about. I'm an insurance salesman, but I don't ever think about that. I'm constantly thinking about sports, and so that's how we grew up. And so when my dad passed of a heart attack in 2019, my dad was passionate about coaching and athletes, and he loved coaches. He loved athletes. He thought coaches were the most important. This was the most important job that anyone could ever have,
True.
and that athletics was the greatest education that any kid could ever have. And so when we combined his passion after he passed away, talking to some of my old high school coaches, they talking about the passion that my dad had. I figured, a lot of that's leaving now. A lot of that's
Right.
leaving.
Hmm.
A lot of people have, they've begun to fool themselves into
Agree.
thinking that there's so many other things that are more important than just
Correct.
athletics,
Yeah.
and that's
Correct.
simply not the truth. That's simply not the truth when you think in terms of how athletes learn through sports, winning, losing, the hard work. I tell my
Right.
daughters every day, um, to be a success isn't easy.
Right.
Anything worth achieving, anything worth being success at is not easy.
Right.
And one of the main reasons you'll ever you can learn through certain other avenues, but sports will teach you that from the first time you start. And so really believe in that, and also believe that people don't appreciate what coaches do anymore. They
Right.
don't as an honorable job like they used to,
Yeah.
and
Right.
it still is. So when I started this charity, which we honor high school coaches and high school athletes, we give out scholarships. We help out coaches when they have medical needs, things of that sort. I wanted to honor and interview coaches that have made an impact
Right.
in West Texas. And so, as a matter of fact, his was the first one we did. His was the first one I
Wow.
did because there was really no. It's hard, man, to find another coach in West Texas that had more of an impact on kids than Coach Williams. And then with the success that he had for years and years and years in Pecos, it's hard to match that.
Right.
It's hard to even fathom how successful he was. And so I knew he was getting older already, knew he was getting up in age, and I wanted people to hear his story.
Right.
I wanted
Got it.
people to learn about him. I wanted his family, his grandchildren, to know just how special he was. And so
Correct.
that's why I did that. I did that interview. I did that interview for his family. That's why I did it. And so I've
Awesome.
done a couple
Yeah,
since
that's awesome.
I've done a couple since then. Did one for Nora Guerin. Do y'all know
Yes. Coach
her?
Garen.
She's another coaching legend.
Right.
Yes.
I don't even know if the town of Pecos knows, but they have two coaching legends. They're down to one. Not only Pecos coaching legends, they are Texas high school coaching legends.
Legends.
Coach Guerin is even a Florida. She's a coaching legend in Florida.
Wow. I didn't know that.
Wow.
See?
She started her career in Florida. Uh,
Awesome.
she coached boys basketball in Florida before she moved to El Paso. So I mean, Pecos has two West Texas gyms there, and now they're down to one. And so I just thought, man, I got to interview these two. More importantly for their family, and so
Correct.
that's why I did it, man. And it was a
Yeah.
joy to interview those two because even though when I interviewed them, I was already out of coaching, I still learned something from coaching just by interviewing them too. And so it was an honor for me to do it.
Awesome, coach. Well, I'm glad you did it because I enjoyed that video very much. I haven't watched the one about her, but I'm gonna go ahead and check it out now
I
for that
saw I
reason.
saw I saw that one with Bubba Williams and the one I guess I think it's like a 5 minute long when you're doing one for your dad as well, how they're asking everyone at the golf course how Mr. Flores impact like brought into Monahans as well. So
Right.
I saw those
Yes, sir.
two videos.
Hey,
Yeah.
I'm gonna go ahead and tell you guys real quick. Our next fundraiser is our golf tournament that we hold every year, July 16th. So
Okay.
you guys and Pete, somebody else, y'all get a team, get a lot of people from Pecos to get teams out there and head to Monahans. We give scholarships to kids from Pecos every year, and so we
Cool.
want to.
So there you go, PCU
There
family.
you go. Share
see that?
this. Don't be
Save
afraid.
that date.
Share it.
Save that date.
July 16, right,
That's right.
Coach?
It'll be July 16th.
And if you need a partner, come get me. I shoot high 70s.
Uh-oh. Uh-oh.
He's mine already. Smokey's mine already.
When here on the show, they call me Smokey Longas, but when I'm playing golf, they call me Smokey Woods.
Oh my gosh. You're gonna test you, man. I'm gonna test you on that one.
Actually, I'm taking lessons because I am hitting in the 80s. I do hit in the 80s. My best one I ever hit was like an 82. But
We'll
the
say
other
you
time
gotta
is like an 87, 80,
take
86. But
Smokey out, make sure he's that good.
Yeah, I'll
Shoot.
take
yes.
I'll
No,
make sure.
watch me. I'll be surprised. I'll be like, Smokey, trust me, there's so many players who actually went to school with me and they see me at the golf course. I go to the golf course at least once. I supposed to have lessons today, but I came here for the show. And it's just my iron. My drivers and my putting is on point. I'm it's just my irons. I just need to get my second shot on green. Once I get on green, you guys are in trouble. Coach, you ever want to invite me? Let me know. Invite me with Coach Payan. And I've been seeing you. I've been going a lot to I think Hogan and Monahan. So hey,
man.
don't be afraid to invite me.
Yeah, man. Payne and I still play. Not a whole lot, but we get together and I've improved a little bit over the years. He still hasn't improved one stroke, so I don't know about that.
Coach Payan, you need help for his tournament? Call me.
Yeah, coach. So I guess with that, coach, I guess we'll ask you a couple of questions regarding to Bob Williams, I guess you want to start with your Smokey?
Well, yeah. Well, this is my question, Coach Flores. Should they name the baseball stadium under his name? In my opinion, will be yes. I would like to.
Most definitely. As a matter of fact, on a couple of occasions, I've emailed the superintendent. I made contacts with certain people on the boards in the past while he was alive, and trying to get the baseball field named after him. I don't understand. I'm going to talk a little bit crap about Pecos real quick, although I love it. It's in my heart, so I'm doing it for a reason. But I still find it odd that the new gym is still called the new gym and the baseball field's called the baseball field. Every other place has a name because they honor their legends, their legends, their inspirations for their school pride. Yet Pecos hasn't done anything. We got two of the greatest coaches in their sport. Three, add Coach Morris in there for swimming.
Yeah. For swimming,
right?
We have, Pecos has three legends when it comes to coaching. Which, think about it, what other school in West Texas has three legends, man?
That's what I say, man.
And yet the swim pool's not named after her.
They
It
need
should
to.
be.
They need to do something, man.
The gym is still named the new gym. Are you serious? It was built in 1985 and it's still called the new gym.
Yes,
and the baseball field's still a baseball field.
Yeah.
Yeah,
the thing
so,
there need to be a change. Something needs to give,
Now talking, there's steps for that. Like, do we have to go to the city? Or do you go to UIL? There's any steps for that? Like to say petition, you know what I'm saying?
Yes, and so probably a petition would be good, but this is what you need to do. And I've thought about doing is you need to get on the school board agenda. Anybody can do that. It's open to the public. You just need to call the administration building and say you want to be on the agenda. You got something.
There you go, guys. Let's do this. Make this happen. We need to make this happen for our legends.
It's really that simple. You get on the agenda. You tell them what you want to do. The meeting will start. I know because I'm on the school board here in Greenwood. You get up, say what you got to say, and then the school board will decide. They'll take your comments and concerns, and then they'll decide if it's a good idea. And it's a no-brainer. it's really a no-brainer. I don't understand why the school district has not done anything for Coach
Coach,
Williams.
I think he's gonna run out of time. We just got a little pop-up thing. So
Yeah,
hey
coach.
guys, if y'all watching, we're gonna have a part 2.
Yeah, we're gonna have part 2, guys, because we're running out of
Yeah,
time
we're
on the
running out
meeting,
of time here in
and
the
we still
meeting
got a couple of things to say.
to cover.
So, part 2.
Part 2. Stay tuned. We're
Yes,
coming
sir.
back.